Warning, this episode contains adult language, mature situations, main characters with a strange bounty on their head, horrific artwork, violent gory deaths, skeletal backpacks, bone-shaped spaceships, sleepy slime, and the universe of Dark. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Listener discretion is advised. Episode 453, Dai Dark. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Reviews, some podcasts doing reviews about connected enhanced narratives. I'm your host Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, bonjour, and what's up? Hope all of you have been safe and happy out there in the real world. I've been doing pretty good, been kind of crazy because I am in Massachusetts and we are hit by that very large snowstorm, but things are looking good and I've got tons of manga to keep me occupied. Hope all of you are doing well, and hello to all of our society members who are part of our Patreon. Hope you're doing well, and hope you're checking out some of our really cool rewards we've been releasing recently. But I'm getting ahead of myself. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Spiraken is some podcasts and varying reviews about connected enhanced narratives. A nerdy podcast where we talk about various geeky topics. Depending on the episode you're listening to, we cover a variety of topics from video games, movies, TV shows, anime, and manga, since obviously this is a manga review. And we tell you how it is. We tell you how the art style is, the overarching plot, the characters, the design, and most importantly, if it's worth investing your time in or not. You don't have to agree with anything that I and my co-host say, but we try to be educational, enlightening, exciting, and most importantly, entertaining. You can check out any of our earlier episodes at www.spiraken.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, and various other social media sites. Just type in Spiraken in the search bar, and I guarantee you'll find us one way or the other. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can email me personally at Zan, that's Xan, at Spiraken.com. Or you can tweet me personally at Spiraken. And if you enjoy what you hear, you can help support our podcast by joining our Patreon and help us create more fun content for you to enjoy. That's patreon.com/Spiraken. And now that all the shilling is out of the way, let's actually get to the reason why I do this podcast, which is the manga review of the day. So if you remember from the last episode, I spun that only, the Wheel of Manga. And it dictated to be there reviewing a manga that was written by Hayashida Q. Yes, the creator of Dorohedoro. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this individual, they are a kind of horrific artist who creates these very bizarre, strange, and very disturbing creations. Dorohedoro was about a lizard man that would put people's heads into their mouths, and then they would see, well, a head in there that said that's the person or it's not. There's magic, there's violence, there's beheadings, there's monsters, and it's very twisted, dark artwork, and this manga has tons of that weird sci-fi fantasy artwork in it. Now, this manga was released by Seven Seas Entertainment. It is technically a shonen series, but it is an action horror sci-fi romp through space that's really bizarre. Original run was 2019 to present. There is 4 volumes, and, well, let's get to it. This is the manga known simply as Dai Dark. So, Dai Dark is the story of Zaha Senko, this alien teen who has a very mysterious past. And unfortunately, someone said a legend about him, claiming that if you possess his bones, you'll be granted any wish you desire. So the entire universe is hunting after Zaha, trying to kill him and get his bones. So he's now a vagrant and a fugitive from everybody because everyone's trying to capture him. Now, fortunately, he's not doing this alone. He's assisted by his friend Avakayan, who's his guardian and his backpack. He's a quote-unquote package of darkness that assists him and helps him out with various abilities. Now, these two are constantly running away from aliens while exploring the universe and dealing with tons of individuals, both good and bad. There is his self-proclaimed best friend, Shamita Death, who is this really big, scary alien that considers themselves the god of death and feeds off corpses that Sanko and Avakian create, essentially. So he's staying with them to get a free meal. And then eventually they hook up with this AI ship called Moja, who, well, when we describe the ship, it looks like a giant, golem dog, and the entrance again to the ship is through the butt, and then the AI Moja is actually a little golem dog. So yeah, go figure. This manga is completely insane, and to understand it, we have to describe the setting a little bit. This is a space opera, so it's taking place in outer space, and space has been split up into 2 different areas. There's regular space, and then there is the dark realm, the dark space. And how it works is that regular space is, like you typically figure in most sci-fi shows, there's tons of planets populated by various aliens, and these robots, or robos as they're called. They're kind of half human, half robot, puppeteered corpses, kind of. It's really disturbing. And they're generally neutral and hostile. There's no good planets. They're all like really angry, or they're just neutral. That's all you get. Now, the neutral planets are places like this place called the Grand Tree, which is a school ship that's run by this organization known as Solar Mass, who controls everything. Solar Mass is this huge religious sect that is very almost like a mega corporation. They control everything. There's tons of different little subgenres, and they say they're good, but they're really not. They do some kind of horrific things in this. The other thing is you have ships like the Maltekia, which is this merchant ship that's a space mall that says you're allowed to be on the ship for, say, 1 hour, and then after that, the ship will blow up because they've been raided so many times, and that's them being neutral. It's, you can go there and shop, but then afterwards we're going to blow up. Yeah. And that is regular space. Then dark space, the world of darkness, the dark realm, is only accessible to these aliens who are known as dark beings. Now, Zaha Sanko is a dark being, so he's able to go through to this world, which you can only reach by going through a black hole or a dark area. And these dark aliens are, well, they're all over the place. There's different types of beings that are broken to them. There's the sentient entities called packages, like Avakian. They're kind of like living suits of armor that have their own consciousness. Pretty cool, but kind of bizarre. Now, there's also these really weird aliens who just show up and do things, like her name is Mesitani Box, or Shop Valley Box, who's a young lady who lives in the world of dark, and she sells these items like the flesh of darkness, bones of darkness, dark cores, and other things, and she exchanges the flesh of aliens for these different items that do things. She also sells this manju, which is super alcoholic. She's like the typical, if you're playing an RPG, that shop character who shows up and says, "Hey stranger, you want some items?" That's her job. And some of those things I'm talking about kind of make no sense. The flesh of darkness, bone of darkness, those are garb and weapons that are used by the dark realm. So these are the armor that Sanko uses. The flesh of darkness is like this cloak that makes you invulnerable as long as you're wearing it, and you'll never be hurt, but they wear it down pretty quickly. And then the flesh of darkness is a axe or a gun or whatever, depending on the one you buy. It's a bone that turns into a weapon, and then you use it. So there is semblance to this. It seems like a very disturbing video game, to be honest with you. Let's be honest. And this is the world that Zaha Senko inhabits, and this is the world we're introduced to, and it's very bizarre and strange. Like, the mall isn't a mall. It looks like a hive where there's holes and there's signs saying, "Go here for this item, go here for this item." And it's pretty just what the hell. But then you have our main character that we're going through. He's a teenager who everyone's trying to kill, and he's still kind of optimistic and upbeat despite the fact he's constantly under threat of death. Another fun little fact, he's constantly wearing shirts that have the movie series Alien on it. Like, one point you see a face hugger, another part you see a xenomorph. Kind of clever. And he's constantly just trying to exist and live his life and watch TV and eat his favorite thing, which is called a mebaspa sandwich, which is meatball and spaghetti. It's constantly the one thing he eats. He doesn't know how to make anything else, but it's a meatball sub. And how he makes it is kind of disturbing, but it's like space logic. It's like, hey, make some meat by putting it in the oven for 10 minutes after you spray some sprinkles down. Don't ask. It's kind of disturbing. And it's interesting to see how he grew up, because he was raised by Avakian, who is this, like I said, he's a package. He's a giant skeleton that turns into a backpack that's able to breathe fire, and he can he's that voice of reason in this group of psychopaths. It's him and Sanko, and then Moja, who is the AI for the ship they buy, who I told you is in the shape of a small clay dog. And he's just kind of like a little kid. And I did mention Shimada Death, who is the god of death, who's this very crazy, like, space devourer who loves eating corpses and souls of people. And so he hangs around because he knows that there's going to be death and they'll eat all the time. And the crazy part about Shimada is kind of genderless, because when you see Shimada, it is this very scary, red-clad demon creature. And then underneath this, it turns out that it's just a suit, and he is a she, but he uses male pronouns, so it's kind of gender neutral. You're not sure what Shimada is, but you just know Shimada kicks ass. And they have a symbiotic relationship with Sanko, where they'll hang around him, they're his best friend, they'll save him, but he feeds them in food. And the story's engaging and intriguing, but it is rather disturbing. Just like with Dodecahedro, it's just this very dark and bizarre and strange art style that's kind of confusing, and while hyper detailed, looks strange. I'll admit it's 1 in a million. There's no one else who could draw like this. But on the other end, it's kind of sick how the art is, and it makes you feel kind of dirty and scummy. And I've seen better artwork, I'm not going to lie. But the story's kind of cool, and I like a lot of the elements about it. I enjoy the fact that you have these unique characters that are in this world that aren't trying to kill Sanko, while the rest of the universe was trying completely to assassinate this kid for just a rumor. They don't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it. And when you find out more about the solar mass, it gets even more convoluted and insane. It's confusing, but it's one of those ones that you'll check out and you'll be like, I'm intrigued by this. Now, there's no romance in this. There's not a lot of drama. There's very schlocky humor, like laughing while horrible things are happening. And if you're into that, you'll enjoy this. If you don't, you're not going to like it. Me personally, this gives me kind of that dark sci-fi nudge that I like, but it is a little disturbing. So for that reason, because the art style is so weird, the release isn't bad. It's a good release. I like that it's got Sanko on the cover, even though you don't know it's Sanko, because when he's wearing the Flesh of Darkness, he looks like just a big, scary, black-clad creature with a skull mask. That's it. You don't really see Sanko till way later, but he's constantly wearing that skull mask and the robe, and it feels weird. I'm not a fan of his design. I love Shimada's design. I love Shop Valley box. Misatani boxes. Moja, I was like, I'm okay with it, but I'm not super loving the design. So I'm just going to say, overall, if I had to rank this out of our rating system, I'd have to give this a Gift from Your Crazy Aunt Muriel. It's okay, but it's kind of forgettable in the grand scheme of things. It's so bizarre, you're going to keep thinking about it, but when you put it down, you're not going to think about it. It's okay. And it kind of reminds me of stuff from the 80s, but it's the 2020s. So, feels a little out of date. Now, if you've read this and you disagree with me, email me, zanspiraken.com. Let me know what you think about this, if you enjoyed this or not. Personally, I thought it was okay, but I'm never going to go back to this. It's just too bizarre, even for me. And I like some weird things. So, yeah. But I'm getting off topic, so let's get to the next part, which is the manga releases for the week. These are what came out on February 1st, 2022. We have 28 new titles, including 5 Seconds Before a Witch Falls in Love, the manga, A Tale of the Secret Saint, Volume 2, Adachi and Shimamura, the light novel, Volume 8, Black Clover, Volume 28, Cells at Work Baby, Volume 3, the complete manga box set of Cells at Work, this is all of the original series, Chainsaw Man, Volume 9, Creepy Cat, Volume 2, Dr. Stone, Volume 20, Hello Melancholy, Volume 1, I'm Standing on a Million Lives, Volume 11, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 5, Golden Wind, Volume 3, Jujutsu Kaisen, Volume 14, Night of the Ice, Volume 9, Lovesick Ellie, Volume 2, Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, the manga, Volume 14, Orient, Volume 7, Peach Boy Riverside, Volume 5, Reborn as a Barrier Master, the manga, Volume 2, Restart After Growing Hungry, the manga, Seraph of the End, Volume 23, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 1, Part 1, manga box set, The King's Beast, Volume 5, Thigh High, Riwa Hinamari Academy, Volume 3, Vampire Dormitory, Volume 3, Bokuben, or We Never Learn, Volume 20, Welcome Back Alice, and Yona of the Dawn, Volume 34. Now, for me personally, I'm excited for Cells at Work, Chainsaw Man, Dr. Stone, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Reborn as a Barrier Master. Which are the ones that you are excited for? Let me know. Also, I cannot forget Bokuben, We Never Learn. But those are what I'm excited for. Let me know what you're excited for. And now we're at the part which I've been enjoying, which is just thanking all of you for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for giving me a reason to keep doing this podcast, which I've been doing since 2008, and I'm going to keep doing until I'm an old man who can't read manga unless I have a magnifying glass or I have to read really big print. So thank each and every one of you. To my Patreon subscribers, hope you're doing well, and I've got something really fun for February of 2022. We're going to be doing some contests, but you have to go join the Patreon to see what that's all about. So with that in mind, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for, the most popular part of this podcast. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. And what I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of the 10 slots. So what I do is I'm going to spin this Wheel of Manga, and whatever number it lands on, that is what I'm going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 454. That is 46 away from episode 500. I've got to say, I'm excited to see where we're going to go with this. So let's spin and see what we're going to review, shall we? Number 3. So, in the next episode, I'm going to be reviewing a manga that is about being shy with strangers. Talking about Hitomi-chan who's shy with strangers. Will this be good? Will this be bad? Well, you're going to have to wait and find out. So, as usual, I am your host, Zan. I'm Gonzville. I'll catch you guys next time. And as usual, keep reading manga. See you later.